Okay, we'll call to order the meeting of the Planning and Development Committee on Monday, October 7th. We want to lead us in prayer. We'll do that. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this group of people here this evening. We ask that you would be with us in decisions we make, guide us through those decisions. Bless each one of those members that are here this evening. On to approval of the agenda. Anybody have any additions or corrections? Moved by second, motion by Baker, second by Hart. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. On to minutes. September 9th. Motion to approve by Brand. Second by Baker. All in favor? Any opposed? As well. On to claims, we have cash requirements of $5,806.80. Annuals totaling $161.49 for a total of $5,968.29. Move to approve. Second. Motion by Whalen, second by Hart. In favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries as well. Public comment, I don't see any. On to reports to the committee. Andrew.
Good evening. Over the past month, we continue to meet with businesses doing business retention visits. I was able to sit down with Lusher, Morris Group, and Anchor Harvey in the last month. Very common themes that I've already reported that we're seeing. Childcare is an issue with employment. Sometimes housing, maintenance technicians are difficult. Those positions are difficult to fill. One of the other things that was shared in terms of, we're in an election season. Inflation is a real thing and the interest rate is coming down, but that has had a negative effect on some businesses. And recently, DCEO had a road show. They were in Freeport a week ago today, kind of giving their financial or their fiscal plan and things that they've been up to. One of the things that was talked about was a program called WorkShare. This is through the Illinois Department of Employment Security, IDES. And really the impetus of this program is to help reduce any sort of temporary layoffs. As a company kind of goes through a slow period, they think it's very temporary, but they're really not wanting to have to lay off any talent in the midterm or in the short term, knowing that it's likely that they would be employed elsewhere. So this WorkShare program is designed to help the employer kind of keep that individual or individuals on payroll for a period of time. It can go up to a year. So that was a resource that we connected them with. So I don't anticipate, I think that this is a very temporary thing for them. I think that they have a lot of contracts that are in the waiting. They're just waiting for their vendors to kind of greenlight them. We've also distributed a business climate survey to Stephenson County businesses. This survey was, the intent is to kind of get an overall local economic climate from the business's perspective. We anticipate that this survey will be opened probably through most of October. Then we'll do some analyzing the results and reporting back out. We continue, this was talked about a little bit earlier, we continue to work with 360 DMG, and they were hoping to scratch ground for their building on Lot 5 yet this year. They might, but they had a setback in terms of the builder that they were working with came back with a proposal that was larger than their budget. So they're revisiting some things and potentially interviewing with other builders. So we're helping them give kind of contacts to other individuals. Everything is getting more expensive. And so I think it is really thinking about how they might phase the project, get something in the ground, get the building there. I know they want to expand and add on to future phases. So it's just going to be planning and looking at different options. So, and again, Mr. Hashmi, excuse me, is traveling often, so it is kind of hard to get in touch with him, but emails do come through at random times in the night. So we're in contact and we're trying to connect them with any resources he needs. I'm not sure when he's going to be back into the area, but we'll connect him. He had a number of other builders that we had supplied him with previously, so he's reaching back out to them. I am working with a group of childcare providers in the area. We're going to head over later this month to do a tour of the Bright Minds campus in Dubuque, Iowa. This was a kind of childcare collaborative that was partially grant funded, partially by Iowa state dollars, as well as some local dollars to provide kind of wraparound childcare services, before after school program, childcare, preschool. There's also different services within the building. As I think because of YCC's needing to reevaluate their space, where they might move to, how they might expand, this is an opportunity for us to look at childcare on a broader scale and thinking about maybe there's a different kind of service delivery platform. Maybe there's a different type of campus that could be developed. So we're going to head over there later this month and just learn from others and see how they are working this process. We know that childcare and lack thereof is a talent recruitment problem. And those that have had children wanting to go back into the workforce are delayed in doing so because there's not a slot open for their child. So, also contacting Shimer College in Mount Carroll. Part of their ongoing kind of phased project is there will be a daycare facility there. So have received some contact information and like to sit down with David Schmidt, my counterpart in Joe Davis County, as well as Mayor of Mount Carroll, and I think part of their development team to kind of talk about what the child care building program looks like. Do you have any information you can?
It's not Shimer College.
It's not on the campus?
It's on campus, but it hasn't been Shimer College since like 30 years ago. It's owned by the Quad City Redevelopment Organization down there. I can't think of the name.
Have they rebranded the
Might be Shimer campus. but
Okay.
There's
no Shimer College
Yeah,
campus?
there's
There's no
been
college
there
left there.
in
Yeah,
a
yeah,
long,
yeah.
long time.
Yes, but
Yeah, they're moving full speed ahead on that.
yeah, and I know that was a mixed use development, lots of different buildings. Some of it would have housing, some of it would have, childcare obviously, but maybe other office space.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of buildings there that are real disrepair, roofing, windows, everything. They're moving full speed ahead.
We continue to connect employers with opportunities to get in front of future workforce. Upcoming this month, October 17th, will be Manufacturing Day. Area high school students will have the opportunity to tour many manufacturers, as well as kind of go to an expo that will be held at Highland Community College. I know that participation from many Stephenson County manufacturers, Adkins, Anchor Harvey, Berner, Danfoss, New Astro Queso, the Plumber and Pipe Fitters Union, Savencia, Snap King, and Titan Tire will all be represented there. So happy to see that program continue to move forward. We will be able to participate in that day, and I'll share back kind of numbers of participation. November 6th, Highland Community College and Freeport High School are doing a joint coordinated job and career fair. This will be exposure to Freeport High School students, but other area high school students are going to be touring as well. Employers are asked to bring in a booth, kind of meet with students, talk about the career opportunities that are here. So we're looking for that to be a success. They're anticipating around 500 area high school students and some college students as well. Last week we held a upstairs downtown workshop in conjunction with Illinois Main Street. So we had two practitioners coming in talking about upper floor residential. We know we have some in downtown Freeport, as well as some upper floor residential in surrounding communities. There is a market for that here. It's not for every demographic and kind of season of life, but there is an interest, and there are a number of units in downtown Currently, they're not usually having to be listed anywhere because they are rented so quickly. But when we look at a building pro forma and how it might be fully utilized, having upper floor residential is key. There's also a financial gap usually in looking at how you would update, upgrade, renovate those upper floors. So that was part of the program's discussion. The team is kind of the partnership team is looking to kind of meet, assess kind of outcomes from that workshop, and then moving forward, how we're going to kind of push the initiative forward here, and have some stakeholder engagement and meet with some of the local developers. We had about 40 in attendance, a nice cross section between building owners, some small scale developers, bankers, some real estate agents. So it was good turnout. In the last month, we were able to respond to 2 requests for information from Intersect Illinois. One was in the manufacturing sector, the other was in logistics. We're finding that we were able to, one was a response with an existing building, the other one was with land. We know that greenfield site development is still key and a priority. So partnership staff is working on a grant application for a site readiness planning program through the state of Illinois. We will be submitting an application later this month. And then in small business development, we will be offering 2 classes for small business owners, entrepreneurs, one around social media on October 22nd, and one about finances, accounting practices, and financial statements at the beginning of November on the 6th, as we plan for Base Camp 2025 that will start late January. Upcoming events, you might have seen promotion of Wine and Witches is this Thursday evening. We will have Jimmy Nick and Don't Tell Mama concert at the Masonic. That will be held November 2nd. Proceeds of that event go to help fund the planting that's in downtown through the summer months. Mistletoe Walk will be November 16th. I can't believe we're talking about Christmas. And then we're new this year, we're going to be doing a Christmas concert. We have a group called the Christmas Wizards. They are a Trans-Siberian Orchestra tribute band that will be there on December 13th. So any questions?
At Masonic?
At the Masonic. Both of those concerts will be at the Masonic. Jimmy Nick will be probably downstairs in the ballroom, but the Christmas Wizards will be in the auditorium space.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
No, yeah. And that's it?
Did
That's
have
it,
one other
yeah.
question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead.
On the job training, I realize, we've been talking a lot about childcare, but for the young individual who maybe doesn't have that situation, but doesn't, on the other side, have the funds to go pay for training in Highland, do we have any programs available for that individual locally?
We do, and I would connect them with 2. One would be the Workforce Connection and the Regional Office of Education. Again, the individual usually has to meet some criteria in terms of income with the ROE, depending upon if they need to still need a GED or high school diploma, or if they have that already, and what age they are. I can get you more specifics on those programs, but there are funding for those individuals to then get that training. There's also dollars specifically through the Workforce Connection around kind of OTJ or on-the-job training that can help defray the cost of an employer hiring someone who would need to be trained on the job. Again, usually those individuals need to meet a certain criteria, but that's there. And I'd be happy to share with you some numbers. Highland released their kind of student census and credit hours. Since the semester has started, they usually do it a couple of days or like a week or 2 out. And there was noticeable uptick. I think this is the 5th semester that they've seen an uptick in enrollment, but there were some key increases in, I would say, critical training areas. kind of CAD tech, maintenance tech areas. So that was promising.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Steve?
Yes, go ahead.
Did I understand you to say that there's some local businesses that are negatively being impacted by the Fed's rate cut? Or did I misunderstand?
They're not being negatively impacted by the rate cut, but prior to the rate cut, I think that some of the, they talked about it kind of being a perfect storm of inflation, high interest rate before it was cut, some uncertainty going into the election season, that they had orders that were on hold.
And just one more, what was the other name of the band?
The Christmas Wizards, and then,
That was.
I'm gonna look at my notes because I'm probably not gonna get this right. Jimmy, yes, Jimmy, Nick, and Don't Tell Mama. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Andrea.
Oh, I'm glad we got to do that in a public meeting. Right, I know.
On to zoning.
$42,629.50 was deposited for the month of September. Total to date is $153,744.16. So we've exceeded our goal of the year per se. You're welcome. We did receive another application for a solar this week. Well, we received the permit application itself, not the full packet, and the check. So usually we don't get the check until we get the whole thing. That'll be deposited at the end of this month. That one's $31,700. All of our no permit violations have been resolved except for one of them. They did call today and they will be in within the next week. So that's a plus. We have been seeing the increase in the floodplain violations still. We're currently working with most of them. One just doesn't seem to really care and still wants to do what he wants to do, but we're still working on that. I had a phone call from a representative of the Stephenson Coblina processing cheese factory out west, and they are potentially looking to expand. So that's a plus. Nicole and I held a Teams meeting with Liberty Power to discuss the upcoming submission for adding the additional wind turbines. I know I mentioned this last month. They were supposed to come in by the end of this past week to apply for the November hearing. Unfortunately, the feds have made something more difficult, which can be good or bad. If there's a clump of trees and there's a tree 1,000 feet, just one single tree 1,000 feet away, that would be considered contiguous. So then they have to be X amount of feet away from that tree. So if there's another tree 1,000 feet away from that tree, that they're trying to figure out if that's contiguous as well. A lot of the landowners just say, I'm just gonna cut the tree down. They don't want them to do that until they find out what the government actually means by this, which is good because we don't want to have to approve something that's not legal. I had a conference call with Eric Borneman from Hinshaw and Culberson to discuss the final draft of the Dangerous Buildings Code that I was asked to help rewrite. That was sent out to Ms. Whipple, Chairman Helms, and Mr. Joverst, County Board Member. And that's off my desk now. That's for them to see. It looked great to me. I have been on calls to discuss the plans for the Zimmerman South solar site. I expect to receive that full application within the next week or so. That'll be the final completion for the Soltage up on Fairview Road. They had Zimmerman North that has just been pretty much completed. I don't think it's up and running yet. And then Zimmerman South will be starting probably sometime in the late fall. And Nicole and I have started the code revision process with Eric Borneman and David Vogt. I talked really fast, sorry.
Any question?
Glad it's not wind. Solar can handle.
Well, we'll be getting more wind
Don't say
potentially
that.
out in the Dakota area.
They're gonna look at one in the southern part, southeastern part too. That's already contact.
Really?
The one that they had several years ago that they kind of
Oh, yes.
hacked off
The
in the
Navitas,
Ogle
yep.
County one.
Yep.
It's gonna stay out of Ogle.
It's going to
It's coming
stand
to
some more.
Okay. I do not have anything to report from soil and water. Is there anything from recreation and trails?
We met September 17th, actually, for the Jane Addams Trail Commission. We did approve a bid for the federal recreational trails program. If you recall, I think I mentioned back in July that the bids in June came back 75% higher than what they anticipated, so they rebid the project. We did select the Helm Group. They submitted along with DBI Construction and Martin. The final amount was $317,661,70. Significantly less than the other two. The highest bid was 331. I'm sorry, the highest was 342. The next was 331. Again, Helm was 370. That will be a 2025 project. Also working on developing language that will restrict animal, I don't know how to say this, sleds or any other item that will be pulled by animals, restricting that from the trail. So that won't be allowed. The reason for that being, if you recall, I think it's last winter, a woman was literally run over by a dog sled pulled by dogs, and the person never stopped. And that's pretty much it for the trails.
Okay.
Are those bids significantly less than they originally were when it was in excess of?
Still over what they originally anticipated.
Anything from Black Hawk Hill? Okay. I don't have anything else to report. The 7.7 Transportation Focus Group had nothing to report. They stopped by and said that they had their meeting, but they didn't have anything to report to us this time. So we'll move on to 8.0, new business, the approval of the RFP for decent mill race. Hard to believe it's been 3 years already since we leased it, so should have that in your packet.
The only changes made from the prior RFP were the dates, and those are highlighted on what I sent. That would go out, the dates on the second page, leave it open through November 14th. And have the public opening the next plan to develop meeting.
Move to approve. We have a motion, check, second. All in favor, please say aye.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Does this lock us in for 3 years? Is there any alternative if somebody would want to purchase?
I think we have that spelled out in there.
It's spelled out. Yeah.
So there's an,
For that specific chunk. Do we have,
and this is for the whole, these whole 100 acres. That's most of what's left.
it's 99 point something.
Yeah, 99.8 acres. That's
So if
basically
there was something in there, if somebody came up, how? Let's see here, let's see.
lot breakdown is on
I have the lot breakdown on it.
the map and
If there was something, let's say, successful bidder comes in and has a crop planted and it's the middle of June and somebody comes to buy and they want to build in August. Are we
Compensate.
compensating them?
Yeah.
I just didn't see it in here specifically.
Oh, I'm just looking at the RFP. That's why I didn't see it. Must be something other than,
No, it's all in the RFP.
oh, is it?
So that's great.
Yeah.
Any opposed? Motion carries as well. On to the review and approval of proposed budgets. We just have economic development budget.
yeah, this was discussed 2 months ago. The entire budget is, kind of paying for Blackhawk Hills Regional Council, our membership with that, Greater Freeport Partnership Agreement. And there's an in and out for the hotel motel tax. There's been no changes since it was originally discussed.
Why, the Blackhawk Hills looks like it's down.
Yeah, why is it down?
Why is that 62% decrease?
So they send a letter every year. If you see in the notes there, it says received request
Right.
July 31st. They send us the letter every year for what they are asking as a financial obligation. And that was what they requested, so.
Do we know why? Do they plan on doing less for us, or
I
do
believe,
they like us
I
more
don't want
than
to
they
speak
used to?
for them. It would probably be a better Sam question than, for me, but I know that they went through some audits. And I believe they reevaluated what their ask was from.
And they also sell,
That is,
Oh, yeah, I remember that as well. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Scope of work is changing. It's just our share. And the other counties also were reduced. Right. To participate.
Because, mainly because of that sale, probably. I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's, I can't recall all the factors that their fee is based on, but a lot of it too is based on the audit.
Right. So,
They've cleaned up a little bit.
Am I seeing things, or is GFP's request happen? What it was?
half of it comes out of a different fund.
Thank you.
where's the other? Oh, is this, are you just looking at the
So you're
KOA
just
tax
showing
reimbursement?
that it was 100,000 total, 50,000.
And the, what, we didn't disperse anything from the, KOA tax
So when we get
thus
that,
far?
which is usually towards the end of the year,
Okay,
after,
gotcha.
after their season closed down for the
I
year,
got you.
then that gets dispersed at that point.
Where's the other portion of the, GFP agreement?
Miller's, I believe.
Oh, yes.
So I'm not pulling it up right in front of me.
Just if you want to review that contract too, George, you can get it. So that's it. It's here.
Yeah, I knew it was more than that.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carried as well. Anything else? Open to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Bush.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman. Well,